friends, my name is Marines, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Important things like women in film, female superheroes, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A couple of weeks ago, Morgan, whose channel I will link for you guys, made a video about female superheroes in the MCU and her take on it. She received a lot of backlash for a video that was truly coming from a place of fandom and that talked about the highs and lows of women in this universe. Instead of letting that be a negative thing for her, she actually reached out to a bunch of us and asked if we would continue on with the conversation. As you guys know, I love talking about representation in media and pop culture, so here I am, and I'm gonna do my best to take a really big subject and try and condense it in this video. More than talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe in particular, I'd like to look at the bigger picture and talk about why this conversation is important and is valid. I'd like to start off by acknowledging that there has definitely been progress for women in this country in the last 20, 50, 100 years. It's always good to recognize and say explicitly what should be implied, and that is that when women talk about progress that is yet to be made, we aren't taking for granted or discrediting what has already happened. Here's a space where feminist ideas and ideas of progress exist. We cannot ignore the progress that has already been made, but we also cannot ignore the problems of the present. Anyone who can look at how women in this case, but minorities in general, are disadvantaged and brush it off because we have it good enough, well, they're probably privileged or bigoted or pretty unrealistic about the way that humans in society work. So that kind of covers the question of why we talk about progress when there is progress to be made. We're not ignoring what has already happened or what has already been achieved, but if there is a place to go forward, it is people having conversations and bringing these things to light and looking at them in intelligent ways that is going to take us up to the next step. Social progress comes on the back of intelligent conversation, so to anybody who ever has an opinion like this, who sees something that is happening and has an idea about how it could be improved, please always engage in those conversations. There are people out there who would make you feel bad for your opinions, who would attack you for them or make you feel like your argument is invalid, but they essentially prove the need for these conversations and for progress. So then we move on to the question of why media matters. Why are we talking about women in media? Certainly when it comes to these conversations, the common cry of those who don't care about those who are discriminated against is there are bigger problems. There are bigger problems in the United States, there are bigger problems in the world, there are places where women can't even vote, there are bigger problems. It's a distraction tactic. Just because there are problems elsewhere in other parts of society, other parts of the world, doesn't mean that there isn't a very real problem somewhere else. Problems in society are not mutually exclusive. So yes, there are bigger problems in other places, but the representation of women in media is still a very real problem. Another battle cry when it comes to media and somebody doesn't like your opinion or your criticism is make your own so-and-so. Make your own movie. If you want to see more women in movie, go make your own movie. And that is hilarious. Any service or anything that we consume, we have the right to be critical about, especially if we invest money into these things. If you went to a doctor and you didn't appreciate his bedside manner, nobody would tell you, well, go to med school and do it for yourself. If you run to a restaurant and ordered a dish you didn't like, chances are nobody on Yelp is gonna be like, well, become a chef and make it on your own. Yes, I encourage anybody who wants to be in the film industry and to do a hands-on job for making progress. That is amazing, and I think we should encourage that, but that doesn't take away from the fact that if I invest money and time into something, I can criticize it and I can comment on it, and that is my right. Just as somebody can consume my opinion and have a reaction to it, I can consume Marvel movies and have a reaction to the way that women are portrayed in them. When it comes to media, I am of the opinion that it absolutely matters, and messages in media matter, and representation matters. You may not have the exact same opinion because there is a spectrum, and people usually fall somewhere along that spectrum when it comes to how much you believe that media has an impact and what you take in has an impact. I fall somewhere in the middle. I think that we as people are very discerning, and it's not that we're gonna see something or consume something and automatically emulate emulate that behavior. I do believe though that the aggregate of everything that we see and the messages that are portrayed in media and the common tropes and the things that are shown over and over again do have a bigger impact on society and how we socialize and how we perceive certain people. That's the way that our brain works, is that it categorizes in stereotypes to help us process information. So if the stereotype that we're being fed through something that we consume a lot of in this country is one that is negative, that is going to have an impact on us. And even if you don't want to acknowledge messages in media and how that impacts us, the truth is that film in this country is an almost $600 billion industry. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe accounts for almost $4 billion of those dollars. In a country where women are slightly more than half the population than men, women are still grossly underrepresented in film, and this is true in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's especially frustrating with Marvel because this is a company that's providing us with heroes and role models and entertainment and points of cultural reference. This is a fact. Women are underrepresented in the MCU, and that doesn't stop being a fact just because someone doesn't want it to be. In the way that Marvel is showing us these heroes, it is just cementing gender stereotypes. It's not fun to see these gender stereotypes confirmed to you on a screen, which you go to for entertainment, and it's not funny when you see it reflected back in real life. So on screen you have one Black Widow to the whole Avengers squad, but in Congress women only make up 20% and men make up the rest of it, when again the population break in the United States is 51% women. While Marvel is making strides in including women in its universe, probably more successfully in comics with things like Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel, the MCU still is struggling to find its footing. So it will include Black Widow, for instance, but where is she in the merchandise? Where is she represented elsewhere? And then we see that in the advertisements for these things, she is always super sexualized. And then we have people like Pepper Potts and Jane Foster, who mostly in the movies exist to be a sidekick and a reason for the hero to come home, a reason for the hero to fight. I encourage you guys to watch Morgan's video and any other videos released on the topic. I mostly wanted to say that it's worth it to ask these questions. It is worthwhile to ask what it is about women and how they are viewed in society that makes it okay to have one representative female in a movie. What is it about women that we are not often portrayed as heroes, and when we are, it's often in a hypersexualized manner? Why can't we ask for more representation, and why should we be satisfied with what we are seeing? Down in the comments, I'd love to hear your take on it. Let me know what you think Marvel is doing correctly and where there is still progress to be made. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Down in the description, I'm going to leave a bunch of links to other videos and material that you guys can use to get more information. Go check it out.